All right, folks, welcome to another Friday at the Hangout here. I am Citizen Jones. Now, today on the program, Uproar as Nigerian Army begins Operation Positive Identification. It says the exercise is targeted at cross-border bandits. Governor GANDUJE canvasses death penalty for kidnappers. And later on, this one, INEC commences prosecution of staff implicated in the 2019 election rigging. Just as Speaker Gbajabiamila affirms House of Reps' commitment to amendment of the Electoral Act. I'm hanging out with a returning Jide, your Abuja trip. All the time, Chris, whenever he gets to Abuja and returns, he's a different gentleman.
Well refreshed.
You know, he's too calm for my liking. I'm surprised. Jide, welcome.
Many people won't agree with you that.
Oh, no, it's all right. Oh, really? Okay, you are calm until when it's difficult.
Remember during the SAP riots of 1986?
No, I traveled to Akwa Ibom.
Newspapers carried a news item in which they said, Ife, calm.
Oh.
Because on the first day, students of Obafemi Awolowo University didn't really take to the streets. So they felt embarrassed that, so people don't see us as calm.
No, Cocoyam bottom.
So they took to the streets, attacked NTA Ibadan, and said, we no go calm, we no go calm. Great Ife, we no go calm.
All right, Chris Kende Wandu is here. Chris, I greet you too.
It's nice to be here once again.
Okay.
Thank you.
The team is ready. I hope you are. Now, you know, the constitutional role of the country's army, or of a country's army, I should say, is to defend the said country against invasion by any foreign ground force. Now, the internal security of the same state is the statutory responsibility of the police. While this is not open to debate, the near luckless state of the national police, that's the Nigeria police, in combating violent crimes suggests that the National Army be deployed to undertake the responsibility. Defense Headquarters has instituted Operation Positive Identification, or OPI, which kicked off today across the country. Defense Information Director, Colonel Oyema Wachuku, insists the ops targets in the main cross-border bandits and their cousins, Jide.
Well, I can see that the army is doing its best to justify this operation. And if you listen to proceedings in the House of Reps, you will see where the Chief of Army Staff was saying, look, Nigerians will not even know that this operation is on. How you want to randomly check for people's identity cards, screen people's identity cards and all that, and Nigerians will not know. I wish that the Chief of Army Staff can explain to us. Because if you are saying that, yes, you are not going to create extra checkpoints, it's possible to not create extra checkpoints, but still subject people to untold agony. It's possible. You don't have to create extra checkpoints before you inflict pain on people.
After all, when you randomly underline that,
yes,
do this, something is bound to give.
Yes, because if I go to the Northeast, I see how it's done, because they have trialed this in the Northeast. And the pain that it inflicts on people, you really have to be there to see it. Because you stop, for most private vehicle owners do not really feel the pain. The people who feel the pain the most are commuters, because they will stop the bus, get everyone to come. A soldier will just look into a bus and direct that you all come down. And then the screening will begin. Sometimes you are made to walk up to half a kilometer. They will isolate you from the bus that's carrying you, and then you are made, after the screening, you walk right up to...
And that goes with an element of embarrassment.
Of course.
Why me?
It's the pain, you see the pain that people go through. When one of the lawmakers said, look, this thing could be abused by the army, it was really spot on. You need to know how our soldiers abuse these kind of things. And of course, you can see that when it comes to catching criminals, these checks hardly achieve anything. Many Nigerians have been killed at checkpoints. Many Nigerians have been raped. You saw the case of the irresponsible soldier in Ondo State who raped the undergraduate. So the truth is, the army should not. The army has already literally appropriated some of the functions of the police, and I think they've done enough of that.
Do you blame them?
No, you see now, I do not totally blame them.
Yeah.
But when what is supposed to be the responsibility of the police, when the army leads the way in carrying out such responsibility, if you are assisting the police, you are tagging along with the police to check crime, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But this is an exercise that is army-led. When you now...
Only army-led
and army-directed, army-operated. When you begin to do that, it means that the army now sees itself more or less in the gap of the police. And we cannot have that situation. Yeah. In the South alone, South and Southeast, we have more than 600 checkpoints. And it is estimated that in 2 years, more than 308 billion was extorted from commuters via those checkpoints in those 2 geopolitical zones. We really do not need...
when you said Southeast, Chris was never going to feel happy. No, he understands. But Chris, mine is the build-up and information management. What got to the public was totally different. The police was going on a stop and search thing. So managing this information and pushing it out is key.
It is. And it's so annoying and very annoying. When you look at what has happened in the past few weeks, don't forget, this information came out at one point. When the Uproar came up, the army came up, whether through its process or through its communication channel, to issue a statement that it was fake. I belong to a platform, I'm in a platform where we get certain information from the military. And I know that that information was posted there. And they didn't deny it. It was said that it was fake. Now, subsequently, after some days now...
What was fake?
That information that there was going to be this operation.
Okay.
Yes.
I saw it too.
Yes. So, now, few days ago...
So you wondered who was saying what?
What? That is when you talk about communication, which you are saying. But back to the issue. Now, we have to ask ourselves, what is the primary responsibility of the Nigerian army? The army has so much on its plate to eat and chew and even drink for it to start getting itself involved on issues like this. One, the primary responsibility of the army is to checkmate external invasion. That is one. The primary responsibility of Nigerian police is to checkmate the issue of insecurity within, internally. Now, the third leg to it is the Nigerian Immigration Service identifies who is a Nigerian and who is not a Nigerian, which is part of what they are doing, trying to do.
Plus the customs.
Plus the customs, mostly that of immigration. It is a statutory function. Now we take it a bit further. Don't say it's because I'm a student of law. There is what we call woman of...
Student of what?
No, nothing.
Okay. Go on.
Within the Constitution of Nigeria, one, that is the right to movement, free movement of Nigerians, unhindered. Secondly, that of human dignity. What the army is about doing is breaching on that particular...
But there's a national emergency.
I am coming. Citizen, listen to what Jide said. In the south, all of us knew how this thing happens. There is a checkpoint between my village in Imo State, a place called Umungwa, which is in Obo, and Umuahia. It's just a stretch of less than 7 kilometers. That checkpoint has been there for years that I know.
I thought you should have started from immediately. No. Immediately after the Onisha end of the Niger Bridge.
I didn't even want to go there.
That
one has been there. The whole stretch. You know that has been long for. Now, if with that checkpoint, I know there has been crime on that stretch of road for years, continuously. A normal person that is coming to commit a robbery and he knows where the military man is, he wouldn't carry a gun and go to where a military man is or a checkpoint. Those that carry us bombing and killing and rest, they don't go near it was the beginning of the Boko Haram crisis that we were having people strapping themselves, they remember, strapping themselves and going to army checkpoints and nobody does that again. What the army should be concerned now is to strategically know how to go about the issue of information gathering.
Yeah.
Instead of scaring people from coming close to give them information. And that is the problem we're having.
We expect at this point plainclothes military
that is
men.
It. That is how it's done that is what in other climes. If you,
what the police would ordinarily have done.
Let me just put up this. Some of us have traveled, we've had the opportunity to travel. Citizen, if you are in the United States, you can never see a military. It's really impossible. Probably when you go to a store, probably to buy something, just one of them walking and rest of them. You don't see them on the streets. What you have is guys from the home security and the police doing their job. And I believe also
Chris, it was so here until you remember what.
Now,
Jide, you know, the chief of army staff was represented by a Major General U.S. Usman. He noted the exercise would not involve movement of troops. That's one. And or their presence in communities. Rather, he emphasized it's a special operation fused into ongoing operations. How do you tackle that?
I already said that the army have been doing its best to sweet talk, kind of get us to think that this is such a wonderful thing that they want to do. But the truth is, I'm concerned about the chances of abuse. And I will give you a few examples. In Yobe State, there is a market called Tarbois Market, cattle market. In Yobe, people are free to move around from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. By 11 p.m., the curfew kicks in. As instituted by the governor of Yobe State after the attack on Babangida village the other day. But what do the soldiers do? As early as 4 p.m., they close the roads. Now, people who have come from Niger Republic, from Cameroon, because it's an international cattle market, from Niger Republic, Cameroon, Borno State and other places to transact business. You shut the roads at 4 p.m. when the curfew had not begun. And then when the people can't live with that, those traders will now begin to tax themselves. They start collecting 500, 200, and then they deliver to soldiers so that they can open the road and save them from sleeping.
You have on good authority. Jide, you know, if me I don't know, I go
let me tell you, the truth is, there are bad eggs in the army. And if we must talk about the bad eggs at all time, we need 10 programs at least in a month,
if not more,
to talk about bad eggs and the things that they do in the military. So this is not the army or the Air Force or the Nigerian military generally. Is not an area that is alien to me. I have friends on the front line. I have friends among generals. So I know what's going on.
And the generals you know and other generals are handicapped?
Hold on. If they try their best to solve these problems, they try their best. They punish wayward soldiers. As you have seen, that one who raped the undergraduate has since been dismissed. I credit Burate for always, when it comes to matters like this, it shows that he's a disciplinarian. Although I'm still waiting for him to do something about the captain who got his hands soiled in the unfortunate killing of innocent policemen in Taraba State. But the point that I'm making is, you close the road at 4 p.m. instead of 11 p.m. and then subject people to agony. Those guys will now begin to tax themselves and pay soldiers to open the road for them so that they can go and sleep in their homes. Some people already, business has been bad for them. You worsen matters for them by unnecessarily locking the road so that you can get an opportunity to extort money. This is what is happening, and this is one reason many people are worried that if we allow soldiers to take up the responsibility of the police and be getting people to identify themselves and all that, it will be abused. People have been killed before in checkpoints. People have been raped before in checkpoints. In my view, there are too many security agencies already, even on our roads. We have VIOs on our road. We have state transport management agents. Like in Kano, they have what you call Karota. Karota is just a last mile here.
Okay.
We have them on our roads. We have NDLA on our roads. We have immigration on our road. We have civil defense on our roads. Yeah. We have police. We have army now. So how many agencies do we really need to customs too on our road? Let's not forget. So how many security agencies do we need on our roads checking for ID card? Look, the fact that you have an ID card does not mean that you are not a criminal. Oh yeah. People go about with valid ID cards. How did the EFCC chairman was saying yesterday that Monfa, the big time 419, had 51 bank accounts? Why? How did an individual open 51 Nigerian bank accounts? So that someone carries an ID card does not make him bona fide or otherwise. Yes, it may just be a Boko Haram. And I think that if we truly want to defeat Boko Haram, let's concentrate our energy in the northeast. I refuse to believe that Boko Haram is trying to come down south and open new cells. They no longer have the resources to do that. If it was possible for them to do that, we will have been hearing about attacks in all those areas. They are struggling to survive. They are holding on to the little territory that they have left.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, you know, a member of the committee that broached the subject matter with the military said that Abdul Razak Namdas said the thing was not going to kickstart immediately. There was a need for sensitizing the public, but that's not been done.
Well, just as I said in my opening remark, when the information came in the first time, the military dropped it. And when I mean dropped it, the way we drop news within the space for people to pick, and, you know, just like the kite, they just flew the kite for people to see the reaction of Nigerians, and Nigerians did. And I still believe that whoever conceived this is a very, very ill-conceived, because citizen is very easy. Within the day, you know it very well that it will just take me 100 naira to go under the bridge in Ikeja, which is just from here, to get an ID card. I'm not talking about, there are so many invalid ID cards. When you make people, everybody can just go there. That is one. Then for my mother that...
sorry, we have company. Okay. And this company is from South Africa. Uche is here. Good evening, Uche. We just lost the contact. Okay. Okay.
Now we are talking about, I said that anybody can pick up an ID card. Anybody and everybody can pick up an ID card, irrespective of whether they're Nigerians or not. And how do you differentiate a Nigerian from a Nigerian? That is the problem we have. How do you differentiate a Nigerian? Most often than not, it is easier for Nigerians to be identified maybe in Ghana and South Africa or that place. Citizen, it is difficult for me as traveled as that to be able to identify any
I hear in Nigeria it is easy to identify the man from Lagos.
Yes, than a man from probably Kenya or Nairobi or whatever.
They are not even saying that. They are not even saying that they want to identify Nigerians from Nigerians or from Cameroon.
No, you just
they are saying that it's Boko Haram people that they are going after. The army issued released pictures of Boko Haram terrorists a long time ago. The truth is, how many of them have been apprehended?
Sorry, we have company. Kabir is reaching us from Kano. Good evening, Kabir.
Hello, good evening.
How do you do, sir? Let's go.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Let's go. Come on, Kabir.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Go on, we are listening.
Good evening.
We can hear you.
Okay, Babajide, good evening.
I greet you, Kabir.
I'm Kabir from Kano.
Okay, very good.
On the issue of this ID card, honestly, our ministry, I really don't know what is doing them. Must they even announce their strategy before they tell us what they are going to do? This same ID card that you are seeing, just like Daman said that in case that you go to another bridge, you can easily do it. Likewise, here in Kano and Bata, when you go, you can do voter's card. They do it for you immediately. But they don't really, do they have the website for them to verify
Oh, boy.
the ID card, whether it's real or not? They don't have. Like in bank now, if you are opening any account, if you build any ID card, we have a portal that we're going to use the ID card for to see if really the ID card is genuine or not. And they don't have all those things. So why are they suffering themselves? And the lie that if you don't have ID card, you're a criminal in Nigeria. Half of Nigeria don't have voters card.
Yes.
So,
Well, Kabir, he's made his point.
Valid point.
Very
Valid
valid point. You make the valid point.
Let's digress, Chris.
Yes.
Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, has gone to court, challenging it.
Yes.
What are we saying here?
Yes, I think it's high time that this is challenged in court. Just as I said, there are some rights that are given Nigerians by the 1999 Constitution as amended. Those rights are stipulated in some aspects of the Constitution. As a Nigerian, there are some rights you are born with. When you say fundamental human rights, these are rights that you are born with, that you don't need to be given. Okay? So some of these rights includes the right to free movement. Nobody can hinder your movement as a Nigerian or even anybody living in Nigeria.
And so
nobody,
if the court says stay action until,
definitely
you expect that to
definitely, if the court make a pronouncement that there should stay action and return to status quo, everybody have them mean this policy. But my problem is that there have been so many court judgments or others and rest of them that has not been obeyed. Are they going to obey it? I think it is high time. And funny enough, you understand, even when the man was making the general was making president, he made a statement that even the president is aware.
Doesn't make it.
You know,
the
he
fact
threw
that
it.
the president is
Yes,
aware does not mean
that he approved.
Does not mean that we cannot oppose it.
Yeah, challenge it.
So it doesn't mean that we cannot oppose it.
He threw it as a gap, as if that yes, the president approved of that. But don't also forget, we are moving into the Christmas period. Vehicular movement and the rest of is going to be very, very, very high. With all these problems we are having on the roads and the rest of them, it is even easier target for men of the underworld, for kidnappers and the rest of them to strike and the rest of them. I think the military should be able to go. And I don't think the problem we've always had is that there has never been any level of synergy between our security outfits. The army is doing its thing, the police is doing its own, the Air Force is doing theirs, the Navy is doing theirs, and then the DSS too. Most often than not, such covert action operations and the rest of them are not generally made public. There's a way, already there's an operation going on in all the geopolitical zones. You've already told Nigerians that, in Southeast, there's going to be a military operation within this period. In South and the rest of them, there's going to be.
You mean the Atilogo thing?
Yeah, Atilogo, they are dancing in the Southeast already. So, but I still believe that this is ill-conceived. If, as I'm writing on, if the Nigerian police is given enough fund, so much is being popped into the
all right.
Yes, if the Nigerian police is given enough fund, I believe that some of these issues can be handled.
Directly to Jide. Yeah. Jide, the Nigeria police at a time was a pride until it lost it. So are we saying it is goodbye to realism when it comes to policing? What next?
There's a lot that needs to be done, and the political leaders have not done enough to reflect the image of the police. You need to go to the training centers for Nigerian policemen. The training centers are in a terrible state. Some of them, no windows, doors are bad. So Is that where you want to produce 21st century policemen? You know?
And policing.
We have to, if we want to restore the image of the police, it has to be a holistic approach. You cannot tell me that the police in Nigeria has not got a redeeming feature. Because what RRS does in Lagos, Lagos is one of the safest states in Nigeria, despite its huge population.
Yeah.
Despite its huge population. When crimes are committed, in no time, the police would descend on the scene and they will get the criminals. The RRS is very effective.
So replicating that across the board.
IRT, led by Abakari, is also very effective. They've shown us that they can really crack crime. Remember those who killed RRT officials in Kaduna, RRT operatives in Kaduna? They've been arrested. So if we fund the police sufficiently, we provide the equipment that they need, we boost their morale, and we thoroughly overhaul the entire setup. Give them the right schools, ask for support from abroad for them to help us train the police. Honestly, we will all be happy with the kind of police that we'll have.
Otherwise, the impression is created that all these things are willful.
What I do not like to see is to give the impression that the police cannot do these things at all. That it is only soldiers that can do
I was merely talking about the police. What's happening with the police is rather sounds willful to me. But let's take Mohammed is in Kano. Mohammed, good evening to you.
How are you?
Welcome, sir. Let's go. Go on.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Ajide.
Good evening.
I'm cool.
Thank you.
Please, this issue of identity identification of ID. Out of 200 million Nigerians we have, how many of us are having ID cards?
Especially those illiterates.
How many of us are having? So does that mean that now anybody who's on the road that you should identify say I don't have ID card?
They will extort money for him and let him go.
Oh boy.
That was what we happened.
Mohammed, that's our worry here. You know.
No, it's a very valid.
But again, in taking this home now, let's look at Operation. Please help me here. Operation positive identification.
Yes.
Good on paper, but we are worried about execution. So we begin to talk about sensitization. This is hardly done in this part of the world.
It's not. Our information management.
With a view to taking the people.
Yes,
along.
our information management is poor. Planning also is also poor. Then strategically deploying such motives also very poor. So when you look at it from that 3 points view, you realize that this is a program that is dead on arrival already, as far as I'm concerned. It is.
All right. Whatever we say here is not the last point on the subject matter. So let's keep debating it. That's the essence. You know, still to come, amidst rising cases of abduction, Governor GANDUJE of Kano State canvasses the death penalty for kidnappers. You side with him? Let's take this break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back, folks. You know, the debate about capital punishment or the death penalty is as intense as the commission of capital offenses themselves. Proponents argue that a murderer, for instance, will forfeit his right or her right to life for daring to take the life of other people. Opponents, on the other hand, contend that capital punishment cannot be administered in a manner consistent with justice. Good talk. Kano State Hemsman Abdullahi GANDUJE has directed his Ministry of Justice to rejig the necessary penal code to enforce the death penalty on any person or persons found guilty of kidnapping in his domain. There's always a marked difference between a good law that sounds good and a good sounding law.
At the end of the day, whether the law sounds good
Or is a good sounding one?
Or it's a good sounding one. What the people want to see is for crime to go down. Every society gets the kind of laws that it deserves. I've used the example of Uganda before, and I'll use it again. There was a time when Uganda was going through what I could describe as a rape epidemic. Young girls as young as 9, 10 were being raped by people who felt that once you succeeded in raping a virgin, you'll be cured of HIV/AIDS.
Whatever that means.
And the president was not going to fold his hands, because people will invade farms, chase away
Men.
elderly men and women at gunpoint, and then grab the little girls that are coming there to the farm and then rape those girls. So Uganda came up with death penalty for rape. Rape not only went down significantly, even the incidence of HIV/AIDS prevalence went down. So before Governor Ganduje came up with the idea of a death penalty for kidnapping, he must have seen that there is a spike in kidnapping cases. And Kano had not always been like that. Look at the case of a young boy who kidnapped another boy in the neighborhood. And that boy died in his hands. I think it went viral, you know. That boy died in his hands. Why do we do this to ourselves? Subject families to untold agony, mental agony, just because we are looking for money. So if Kano can come up with the death penalty, because the penal code in the north, in northern Nigeria, when it comes to rape, it is like a slap in the wrist. There's even the option, when it comes to kidnapping, there's even the option of a fine. That was why Taraba had to change its own law too. And came up with death penalty. Death penalty has not ended kidnapping in Taraba State. It has not ended.
Or any part of the country.
But it has brought down the rate of kidnapping. Just the same way that Peter Obi responded with the right laws to crime in Anambra, and crime came down. Well, if you are involved in kidnapping people in Anambra, they will not only get hold of you, your home will be demolished. Just the same way the Israelis do. Peter Obi instituted that. And this thing came down. So I want to see appropriate implementation, not just to come up with the law. Come up with the law. Let the law be enforced. If the law is enforced, definitely this thing will come down. Look at someone like the governor of Bayelsa State. Before he became governor, his mother was kidnapped. He was in the House of Reps at the time. His mother was kidnapped. It was his own staff that connived with other people to kidnap his mother. The moment he became governor, he quickly changed the law. I can tell you that in Bayelsa, the rate of kidnapping has gone down significantly. So I do not blame any of these governors, coming up with laws that prescribe stiffer punishment for kidnapping, because kidnapping has suddenly become a very, very big problem in our country. Every part of the country, people are kidnapping. Look at, we are even reading judges now. Judges in the past were not. But because kidnappers armed themselves.
Sacred cows,
they armed themselves sufficiently with the kind of guns that even some of our security agencies do not have. So they are able to attack, kill your security men, and then take their victim away. So we too must respond appropriately.
Chris, but there's a side B to the whole scenario. Let's give it that Kano State will rejig the law and criminalize kidnapping to the point of the capital of punishment. But do you know that over 3,000 awaiting execution people around the country?
Yes, I am aware.
One of the governors said, I don't forget his name. He said, "No want blood on your hand." So
yes,
go there.
yes,
Capital punishment for capital offense.
yes.
Is it a deterrence enough?
Yes, it is. You know, will I say I've had the fortunate or unfortunate cycle of being locked up, being in the prison for some days, for about 13 days.
You go cause there.
I don't know what a good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I was locked up at a prison for about 13 days some years back, and it was while I was there that I had a first-hand information on what is going on in our prisons. Let's not even talk of those awaiting trial.
The hangman.
Those that already been condemned. There are so many people that have spent close to 20 years
awaiting the hangman.
Awaiting the hangman.
But I think the latest the latest execution in our environment was the one carried out by
those
governor.
states.
Yeah,
Adam Somusho. They were supposed to come in phases. He had the first phase, which are about 2 or 3. I can't remember. Two people, and he was to go to the next one. And the Uproar came. Oh no, you don't need the human rights and the rest of them. And Adam Oshomole just stopped it at that. Now the question we ask ourselves, just as Jide also asked, that has execution stopped people from committing
capital
offenses and
stopped anything?
Yes. The answer may be no, but it acts as a deterrent. It does. Because, take for example, now, when you are caught with just a gun as an armed robber, that in itself could lead to you being sentenced to death. That is on one.
That was in the military days.
No.
The law has
even
not changed.
the law.
The law has not changed.
It has not changed.
It's
a
death.
crime.
In
fact, if
you want make I mention names here?
No,
names where you know.
No, I know. Citizen, I'm telling you what the law says. If ordinary knife,
he's still dead for penalty.
He's still dead for penalty.
How many people have been so killed?
That is what we are saying, that so many have not. That's what the issue. Now,
so do you need another law?
No, we don't. The issue now is to make sure that the law, as it were, is carried out. The United States, to date, still carry out the death penalty.
Yes, no.
Absolutely.
Some states.
Some states in the United States, they don't go into our normal going to shooting and the rest of them. They already have electric chairs and the rest of them. And once you are condemned, certain states, you are giving the point of the.
But and the electric chair no go work here, Jide.
Why no go? Because NEPA will take life.
No,
we go use generator.
We use generator.
We go use generator. You no go die.
After all, we voted. We set money aside for generator for Aso Rock.
Yes, so we go use generator. But the fact is that I think the governor should rise up to the occasion. The governors, look at what happened.
Chris, because kidnapping is an advanced stage of armed robbery.
It is.
Robbery by other means.
Look at what happened to Samson Siasia. Our coach.
Twice.
The mother has been. And the problem now.
And hold on. There's a law in place in that state by Elsa.
That is it.
And nobody is in the dock. That's my trouble here.
No, don't say nobody is in the dock.
Okay.
What you can say is that the question you can ask is how many people have been executed for it. There will be people. The whimsical nature of our judicial system is such that a case can even last 10 years, 12 years, and all that. So the police still continue to bring people to justice. They still prosecute people. The will of justice is slow.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we have company again. Jerry is reaching us from Ilorin. Jerry, welcome. Let's go.
Good evening, sir.
We greet you.
Yeah. On the issue of this death penalty, from history, I can see that the death penalty has not really stopped any kind of crime in Nigeria here.
Have they been has the law been applied?
I will be applying the law.
I don't know.
Recently.
What I don't know is that.
That's what you must go that path here. Has the law been sufficiently applied?
No, not really.
Okay.
It has not stopped. But if you from the looks of things, you can see that it acts as a deterrent. I want to give an example now. Hello?
Go on, go on.
Yeah, I believe it can act as a deterrent because you see, when you say somebody commits a crime and he knows within himself that if he's caught, the penalty is death. Everybody is afraid of death. Everybody is afraid to die,
To scare people.
A kind of death like that.
Yeah.
So I want to believe that what the governor has said, it should be applied not only to kidnappers, armed robbers, and even to some of our politicians. I'm sorry to say that are seen to be the people that are.
Jerry, me, I don't know about some politicians. So we they talk about kidnappers. So I beg.
No, he's trying to add his own.
No, make it Adam, but also make your law. But
the fact
the
remains.
law must be applied. Look,
The problem,
Chris, put simply,
Yeah.
punish bad behavior.
that is it. The problem we are having is that our leaders or governors and this, because is the governors have the right to make sure that irrespective of whose us is God, we should start meting up punishment as it were, as a way of deterring people from getting into this.
If people
Okay.
in Lagos were not aware that if they drove against traffic, they will lose their cars. Unless, I don't know how we'll even be going to work. They'll be blocking out. Everybody will be driving against traffic.
So those
So
laws must
nobody.
be implemented.
I saw someone who they announced to it that you have lost your car.
That is all.
If I went
Went
mad. So you can imagine. So next time.
You mean he crazy?
He crazy.
All right.
Nobody else, nobody will want to drive against traffic in last
okay.
Lagos. They fear last mile passport.
We hear that our country lacks a sense of history. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I take you back to 1972 when the first public execution took place at the Bar Beach. I cannot forget that. But again, will it be deterrent enough? But apply the law. Let the debate continue. All right then. Okay, ordinarily speaking, punishment is not for revenge, but to lessen crime, as we have just said, and reform the criminal. In our jurisdiction, not punishing bad behavior has become a way of life, and therefore the fear of punishment is gone. But the INEC, the electoral umpire, has elected to take the bull by the horns. The body announced Thursday that it had commenced the prosecution of some of its ad hoc staff accused of complicity in electoral malpractices during the 2019 general election. In the meantime, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila has assured the House that the House is totally committed to amending the Electoral Act 2010 as already amended.
You see, when INEC staff, who are supposed to ensure the fidelity of our elections, take money from politicians and help politicians to rig elections, you don't need to be told before you discover that we are in trouble. And this is something that has been happening for years. Every election cycle, INEC staff will be arrested for aiding the rigging of our elections. Some of them will be arrested for taking money from politicians. Some of them working in the IT department of INEC actually go to the extent of scrambling people's names in areas where some particular politicians are popular, so that you get to your polling center and you can't find your name. A lot of people get disenfranchised in this manner. Their names will be sent to somewhere that the voters, the eligible voters, will not even be aware of. So this is how INEC staff on their own aid politicians to rig our elections. So
and that's the surest way.
We have to make examples of them. Did you see the huge pyramid of money that after the 2015 election that the police paraded, collected, from INEC officials in Rivers State? They were involved in, they took money from politicians And when the police began to investigate, they recovered some of the money and they paraded the money before newsmen. Huge this thing. Yes, bundles of money. So some people think that, oh, because they work in INEC is an opportunity for them to enrich themselves. INEC staff take money from politicians and dispense such monies on election day. This vote buying that we are talking about, INEC staff connive with politicians. The politicians will give them the money. They will put it near their legs. As you are voting for candidate A, and they can see that, yes, you indeed voted. The INEC staff looks at it, and he takes the money and gives you. So they are also even involved.
They are bet
in institutionalizing the idea of vote buying, which is the biggest problem that we have in our electoral system at this time. So we must make examples of INEC staff. Let INEC staff be put on trial and let the world come and cover even the trial of those INEC staff without their faces covered.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
shame, which is what they deserve, can be appropriately served on them.
One thing about shame, my
Yes.
people, the people have this proverb. Ewa mo okori so, obori ba. If dog lick your face, shame no it is. I'm sorry.
So what you are trying to say is
I
that,
not try, they say.
and so what are you trying to say?
Shame no day again.
They don't get
That's
shame.
Oh,
They try to say
generally,
that-
Generally-
people still get shame. Look at some of the we've in the past we've had suspected criminals brought to court. Some of them will be covering their
Yeah.
faces.
Oh, shame they day.
Now shame be that.
so-
Now,
okay.
If shame no day, you go cover your face. Look at the idiot who raped the little girl the other day. The one that this famous Nigerian actress, Tonto Dike, was saying that you are lucky that it wasn't my daughter. I will have shot you. I will have killed you. He was covering his face. The idiot was covering his face. You rape, you defile an underage girl. Now when they brought you to court, you are covering your face. So let's serve justice
For
to
once.
people who are destroying our
once.
country. INEC staff, let's disgrace them when they are
Jide,
caught.
and ask the human rights community in this country to test slow. You know, Yoruba, Psalm 23, verse 1. Test slow for me, re. You know, is that Yoruba right?
It is
Yeah,
right. It's right.
Chris, but see, the legal process, thankfully, you are also reading law on the side.
Yeah.
What is your attitude? Every year, once a year, lawyers in this country congregate at a particular city and they broach the next year. What do they discuss there?
They look at our laws, the existing laws, look at areas where we have defects. If there are, make recommendations.
And they've been looking.
Don't forget.
Is
First of all,
it to look?
No. The citizens, you have to understand what the lawyers don't have any right to deal with anything about law, enacting law, or removing. It is the responsibility of the National Assembly
Why
and
I'm
the
going there
legislators.
is every criminal, according to you people,
Yeah.
is entitled to
No.
a defense
Yeah, it is.
attorney.
No, of course.
Yes.
That is what we are taught.
Yeah.
Definitely, no matter how difficult or how bad the situation is, the person deserves to be represented. And everybody is deemed to be innocent until a judge pronounces him otherwise. But, yes, and that is the stand of the law. Now, coming back to INEC, I totally agree with what Jide said. It is now time for us to start the role of an INEC official is the role of a referee in a football match. Chelsea, Man U is playing. You see, even within football, you see what is happening now.
But you know, in soccer, the referee is a judge of intentions.
Yes.
But when you come into law and legal matters, the judge is somebody else.
But for the new device that has come that challenges the decision of referees, the referees before were like lords.
So you mean the bench needs the VAR?
No, yes.
The bench needs the VAR.
No, the referee now, as it were, I'm just digressing. What I'm trying to say in essence is that the work of an INEC official is supposed to be above board.
Yeah.
at any given point in time,
Because
irrespective.
any verdict you give is sacrosanct.
Yes,
But they
because
are human.
because
they are human, that's why all of these things are
there are instances where there will be errors, human error here and there, but not at the rate at which our own people. Some politicians go into election knowing fully whether they've won, irrespective of whether they have the voters or not.
Oh yeah.
It's the pocket that
So
determines.
they're always sure.
It's the pocket that determines. Okay,
It's the same thing happening even in the appeal courts.
Yes. So
some people who have lost elections, the judiciary gives them undeserved victory.
Let me also tell you this. If you know how bad it has gone, even during our days, during the days of NYSC, we look forward to serving as INEC office. You remember in those days where they used to co-opt us and now give us extra. Now, youth corpers, politicians have even penetrated youth corpers who are supposed to be also INEC officials to make sure a youth corper that they receive, I think they are collecting about 30, I don't know how much presently. Some politician goes as far as doubling what we call alawi during our days.
No,
now, he goes through that ladder, through to the top.
This is not saying
what happens is politicians have a vote for every polling unit.
Okay.
So since the youth corper is, the youth corps member is an electoral officer, he too will benefit from that vote. If you are allocating 100,000 per polling unit, when they share it,
at least
the corps will get his own.
Okay.
So this is it.
Okay, the backroom boys are saying we must go. Chris, today is day number 305 into 2019.
Already?
60 more days to go.
Already?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Still too late to do anything.
That's why you should do something.
That's why you should do something.
That's why from here we should be
You must do
heading.
something.
We should be heading
We're going
for
somewhere. You
From
know
here.
where
We are ready.
Citizen Jones, do something.
Yeah,
We
going to
will
do
hold
something.
you by your neck.
All right then. That's our show for the evening. But please always remember the thrust of the show is to help us as the people realize our DNA. We don't even know who we are. I'm sorry. That's it on the program for today. If you missed any part of it, join us at 11 later tonight for a repeat broadcast. Watch the show on other platforms. We'll show on the screen now and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. On behalf of the Backroom Boys and of course Jide.
Whom you are taking out today.
Yeah.
Is your name?
Okay.
When they say they say they take you out, you don't know the meaning. Chris.
You want to discourage me?
No, it's all right. Enjoy your weekend.
You too, citizen.
But folks, think Nigeria, think this country. It's possible we can get there. Bye-bye now.